So good evening, everybody. It's Wednesday evening, and that means another episode, right, of my journey through fear, anxiety, and panic attacks. And I've lost count a little bit, but I think this is video 55, 54, 55. Yeah, I've been doing them since, I think, the end of May, mid to the end of May. And it was something that I felt God put on my heart. You know, get on here, use social media for good, right? And what an amazing platform we can have, you know, with social media, with like a Facebook Live that we can get on here and we can touch so many people in so many people's lives in such an amazing way. So it was like, yeah, kind of speaking to me, Heidi, get on social media and do videos Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. There was a start time, like, I think it was like start next week or something, but there was no stop time yet. It wasn't like, oh, I want you to do it for a couple weeks or a couple months or whatever. So I'm just going. And, you know, every week I kind of think, gosh, am I going to run out of things to say? Am I going to run out of, you know, my husband's going, no, you never run out of things to say, Heidi. Haha, everybody get a chuckle about it. But seriously, you know, thinking, gosh, have I exhausted, you know, talking about this? Have I exhausted what I can say to encourage people, right? To give people hope and to let people know that they're not alone, to let people know that they can overcome, that they can break free. You know, I struggled with this for 25 years, you know, and I've been free now for 41. I'm sorry, I said that last time, for 21. Struggled with it for 25, been free for 21. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. And that's what these videos have been designed to do, is just to encourage people to know, right, that there is hope. The Bible says hope deferred makes the heart sick. You know, when there's no hope anymore, when you feel hopeless, you know, like you want to give up, there's nothing more I can do. You know, this is just the way I have to live. So many people feel that way. So many people think that way. I thought that way at times too, right? But that begins to make the heart sick, you know, and yeah, you just become without hope, and that's horrible. You know, that's a horrible way to feel. It's a horrible way to live. And, you know, we serve an amazing God. We serve a big God that would never tell anybody, you know, your situation's hopeless. You know, it would never occur. Like, no, sorry, there's nothing I can do for you. There's nothing I can do about what you're going through. Hey, Sharon, how are you? Is there somebody else on too that I'm missing? I know it. No? So yeah, so that's basically the message, you know, that I've been giving, is just there's hope for you. There's absolutely hope for you. You're not alone. You're not the only one. That's a given, not the only one. And there's hope. So anyway, so tonight, what I decided to have my topic on, because I've said this before, I'll say it again, like beginning of today, I had no clue what I was going to talk about. Sometimes Monday, it was like an hour before, like, okay. And it's so funny. I have to do this disclaimer. You got to go back and listen and watch Mondays, because I think Mondays was about feelings, talking about feelings, you know, and talking about how we let our feelings run the show. I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like doing that, you know, and how, you know, we do things, we start things, we stop things because of our feelings. Our feelings are fickle. They're up and down and all over. And that's about an hour before it's what I knew I was going to talk about. And I walked up to this counter where I typically do the videos on Monday. And I guess having it down, or just a different not a great day on Monday. I didn't feel good, right? Not physically, but so I put my iPad down and I just looked at my husband and goes, I said, I don't feel like doing this tonight. I don't feel like doing this. And I didn't correlate it. That's really weird until like the next day I was getting ready and I thought, oh my gosh, I sat there minutes before I went on and said, I don't feel like it. I don't feel like doing this tonight, right? When I'm talking about feelings on Monday. But I did it, right? I did it. I went past it. I've said that a couple times during 54, 55 videos. I've said that a few times, believe me. Like, I don't feel like doing this tonight. I really don't. However, on Monday when I said I don't feel like doing this and I did it, the next morning my son shot me a text. I believe like a friend of his or maybe somebody that he works with said, I listened to your mom's video last night. Something like, and it was just what I needed. Something like that. And it's like, wow, what a blessing. What a blessing. You have no idea. No idea. And those of you who have shared these videos, you have no idea whose hands these are getting into, that need it, that need that encouragement, that need to know there's hope, that need to know, that they don't have to stay stuck in this life of fear and anxiety. So, all right, tonight, how did I get this topic? Hey, Amber, how are you tonight? Hope you're doing well. Baby's doing well. Anyway, so I get this topic. Sorry. I'm on the road today for my job, and I've got XM radio, and I listened to something from Joel Osteen today, just a little cut of it. He's on one of the stations on XM, and he talked about beating the odds, and he talked about people that he knew, that beat the odds, with certain things. Yeah, and I thought, you know what? Excuse me, that's what I'm going to talk about tonight is beating the odds. Okay? So I'm going to just talk about just a couple of people before I get into what I'm going to say too. The first person, this is a famous person. I'm just going to read to you a little bio. In 1832, he lost a job. He was defeated in the state legislature. 1833, failed in business. 1835, his sweetheart died. 1836, he had a nervous breakdown. 1838, he was defeated for Speaker of the House. 1843, defeated for nomination of Congress. 1848, lost renomination. 1849, rejected for land officer. 1854, defeated for the U.S. Senate. 1856, defeated for nomination for vice president. 1858, defeated again for the U.S. Senate. Like by this time, would you have given up? By this time, would you have said, you know what, I guess politics isn't for me. I guess this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. However, in 1860, he was elected president, and that's Abraham Lincoln. So I would say that's against all odds. When you look at this bio, when you look at things, you go, wow, that was against all odds. That probably should have never happened based on how many times he was rejected and things, right? Walt Disney was turned down 302 times. 302 times when he went out and wanted to get loans for Disney World. He's trying to tell banks, about Disneyland, and banks are going, what? Like they don't even get it. They don't even understand the concept. I'm sorry?
It's a swamp.
Like it's a swamp. It's 302 times. Do you think after, 5, you would have maybe given up? You think maybe after 50 or 100, 200, but 300 times being so sold out, so all in on the idea that I'm going to do this. I have a vision for it. Before, he saw it before it was done, right? And I don't think he even lived to see the first one completed, I might be mistaken there, but 302 times. I would say that Disneyland was started against all odds, right? People were probably saying, give up, seriously, you're crazy, you can't, you aren't going to do it, right? Another one, was Colonel Sanders pitching his idea, okay, to have somebody help him with it 1,009 times. 1,009 times. Do you think it would have been like, again, give up? This, that it's not meant to be, right? It's just not meant to be. It's not meant to be, Abraham Lincoln. You aren't supposed to be president. It's not meant to be, Colonel Sanders. It's not meant to be, Walt Disney. It's not meant to be, Albert Einstein. Sorry, I'm reading some of these. I wanted to look some of these up. Or Thomas Edison. I'm sorry, Thomas Edison. I can't remember what they said, like 10,000 tries or whatever, for the light bulb. We go to business seminars. We did several years ago. We haven't in a while, but the woman who teaches them is a multimillionaire. She feeds orphans. She gets people out of the sex trade. She's got all kinds of things going, and she was severely beaten and all kinds of things as a child. She was sexually molested by her father, who was actually her stepfather, grew up in a home where her parents were drug addicts, didn't graduate high school, just all kinds of things that it would have been against all odds. Against all odds. She was homeless at 22, right? So just abuse from childhood on, all kinds of things. People would have said, give up. Like seriously, like what are you even meant to do in your life? And now she's in her 40s, a multimillionaire, giving to tons of different charitable organizations. Just amazing. Amber, you all these Joyce Meyer, you mentioned Joyce Meyer. If you guys know her, she grew up in a home where her father abused her as a child, a father and an uncle, I think, all through her childhood as a little child, grew up messed up mind, messed up emotions, just, people would have said, you want to do this, you want to do that. She's this TV, personality, loving Jesus, bringing people to Jesus, successful, still in her 70s and still going strong. And people would have said to all of these people, probably, if they would have said, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do, people would have said, give up. It's not, you're Latin. This isn't how, no, people like you don't succeed. People like you they're not successful. The one I talked about, Danny Johnson, her sister died of a drug overdose. There was, and she said that's the path that I could have gone down as well, right? But she chose against all odds to say, no, I'm going to be different. This is going to be different. I am going to be a success. I am going to help people. My God is going to help me to do the things that he wants me to do, right? Walt Disney said no, against all odds. No, at 304 banks, he could have said, I'm done. But 305 was the bank that said, yeah, we'll loan you the money. Just think about that, and in Lincoln's last attempt, again, 1858 defeated. He could have been like, I'm done. Politics is not for me. But in 1860, he was elected. So what does this have to do with anything? Besides a history lesson. And, so I was thinking about myself today. And I was saying, you know what? Against all odds, I'm free from fear, anxiety, panic attacks. Hey, Crystal, sorry, I missed some people. And Alice, how are you guys tonight? Right? Against all odds, here I am, a fearful girl, even before my first panic attack at 11, I never knew a life without fear. Totally fearful, paralyzing fear, can't do anything, leaving class at school, getting sick at school, just, what am I ever going to amount to? Panic attacks like crazy. Then start going to the doctor and hearing, you have a chemical imbalance. That's what we found, is that people with this have a chemical imbalance, and it really never balances balances itself. So medication is your only route. Gosh, how were you brought up? Was there, could it be something that runs in your family? Well, they found out, yeah, it kind of could be. So, hey, this runs in your family and it's a chemical imbalance, and you were living with a mother who was depressed and who had, anxiety and fear issues herself, probably not going to happen that you're ever going to break free. We can give you the medication. We can check you every 6 weeks. We can adjust things, and, you can learn to deal with it and learn to cope with it, and learn to be living with it the best that you can, but overcome that. That doesn't really happen. Okay. So I think about myself and I go, you know what? Against all odds, I did overcome. Against all odds, I am an overcomer of fear, anxiety, and panic attacks. And despite the fact that I had gone to many psychiatrists, I had heard the same thing every time. And I always thought, this time, maybe it's going to be different. This time, maybe, we'll talk. That's usually what it was with a psychologist or whatever, psychiatrist. You talk a little bit, go into the history just a little bit, and then it's, here's your prescription. We'll see you in 6 weeks and see how you're doing. Adjust it a little bit. Then go to a counselor on the side for four years, and then go, I don't even know what to do anymore. I'm going to go to Christian Psychiatric Hospital. Oh, I found out about a new doctor here. I found out about this. I found out about that. Was I starting to lose hope at times? Yeah, but I kept going. I kept going like, no, I'm going to keep moving forward. Darn it. Because there's something in the recesses of the back of my mind, even though this was a living hell, even though I was like, I can't live like this anymore. There was something there that there was a little flame there, a little flicker that just wouldn't go out, that said, I am going to beat this. I'm going to beat this. I don't know how it's going to happen. But deep inside, it's like I knew that. Deep inside, that's what kept Walt Disney going, okay? After 301 banks, 302, 3, 4, 5. Because in the deep recesses of his heart, he said, I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give in. I don't care what they say. I don't care who tells me what. I'm not going to do it. That's what kept, Joyce Meyer going, saying, no, I feel like I am called to preach. I don't care what my past is. I don't care what people say about me. Against all odds, I'm going to do it. Right? People beat the odds all the time, but it takes faith. It takes perseverance. It takes saying, despite what people say, even with all due respect, I'm not disrespecting doctors, psychiatrists, counselors, things like that. I'm not, but despite what they told me, despite what they said, I beat the odds. And you can too. It's happening more and more, I think, with people with fear, anxiety, and panic attacks, but the majority of people are still not beating the odds. The majority of people, hey Amber, thank you so much. And I promise I'm going to come see you, girl. I promise I'm going to come see you. Anne Marie, how are you tonight? Right? So I'm like, despite what I've heard, despite what the psychologist told me, despite the fact that they're telling me it's a chemical imbalance, despite the fact that it might run in my family, despite the fact that that's kind of what I grew up with, is this fear and stuff, despite that, I am believing that I can and will break free from this. And that's what you have to do. If there's not a flicker and flame of belief and faith, of seeing yourself like that, seeing yourself free, right? Walt Disney saw the vision of Disneyland before he went knocking on 305 bank doors, and that's why he wouldn't give up, right? Abraham Lincoln probably saw himself, running the country, with slavery, doing the things that he did, before, and that's why he didn't give up. Colonel Sanders at 65 is when he started, 109 1,009 rejections, but seeing it. Okay. That's what faith is, you guys. I did a message on faith several weeks ago, Maybe it was last week. I don't remember. Too many. Faith is seeing it before it happens. Faith is saying, against all odds, I believe that I can beat this. You know, God has designed us with so much power, with so much more inside of us than you can ever imagine. You know, you have everything inside of you to break free from fear, anxiety, panic attacks, all that stuff, depression, all of it. You know, you have everything inside of you. But some of us, like I did too, you believe lies for so long. You believe some of these things for so long. And it's like you just, even when you hear me, you know, you're going, gosh, I want to believe that. You know, I want to believe that I can break free. I want to believe that I can too, but I don't know. I just think, you know, mine is different, that this is different, that it, you know, no. It just takes saying, I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give in. You know, if you're putting up with this, if you're coping with it, it's a big thing now. Let's cope with things. Let's learn how to manage things. Let's learn how to cope with them. You know, I get my cue from the Bible. I get my cue from God, and particularly Jesus. And I don't see anywhere where he told anyone when he healed them, and against all odds, man, I could go into that Bible and I could read you story after story after story, and they're real. They're real stories. They're not fables. They're not, you know, yeah, there's some parables, but I don't think there's any parables about sick people. The sick people that he healed and that he cured, those are real stories. And you know what? Every one of them are against the odds. Every one of them. He never told one person, you have to learn how to manage this. You know, you just need to cope. You just need to cope with it. You just need to deal with it. You know? Sorry, I don't buy that. I don't buy that. I don't want to cope with this. I don't want to cope with it anymore. I don't want to deal with fear and anxiety anymore. I didn't want it running my life anymore. I didn't want to fashion my life around that anymore. I didn't want to think about going places and thinking, what's going to happen when I'm there? Am I going to get anxious? Am I going to have to walk out? Am I going to have to run? Am I going to have to run out? You know, am I going to faint? Am I going to pass out this time? I don't know. You know what? Maybe I just won't go there anymore. That'll take care of it, right? It's what we think. Maybe if I just don't go there anymore. And guess what? It doesn't happen because you didn't go. But it happens at this place instead, and that place instead. And for me, my safe place, my house, began to happen right there too. Right? The God inside you is so much bigger than fear, you guys. So much bigger than fear. So much bigger than anxiety. So much bigger than panic attacks. So much bigger than depression. But there's a lot of things that you've been told that you believe. And the fact that you believe them, how do I want to say that? Diminishes your hope for the future and diminishes your hope for overcoming and breaking free. You know, Amber, you're on here right now. You know, you've done amazing, right? Amber Sunil, that's on here right now. I hope you don't mind me saying that, Amber. I don't know how long ago that it was when we started talking about this, when you were so steeped in fear and anxiety and panic attacks. And man, you've come so far. So far. It's so cool. So proud of you. Yeah. So anyway, that's tonight's message. Is against all odds, believe that you can. Against all odds, believe that you will. Against all odds, keep that flicker alive. Keep that flicker of hope alive. Yes, you have, Amber. You have. Amazingly far. Holy cow. Thinking back right now. Yeah. You birthed your child without fear. Yeah, just think about that. That would have happened, you know, gotten pregnant 7 years ago, 6 years ago, you know. Yeah, so proud of you. But against all odds, right, Amber? Against all odds. I'm sure there were times when you thought too, this is how I'm going to have to live. This is what my life is going to be on a day-to-day basis, man. Fear, getting sick, you come to just go, this is how it has to be. And as long as you're resolute about that, yeah. Against all odds, you guys, I broke free. After 25 years of living with this, I've been free for 21. And against all odds, you can too. That's my message for you tonight. Share it with people because people need to hear this. And I'm grateful for those of you who have, those of you who are listening. I hope it blessed you tonight. So God bless you. Have a great sleep tonight. Hey, Jessica. How are you? I'm signing off. So you're going to have to watch it. But thank you for being on. So anyway, love you guys. You can break free against all odds.